one of the things that, just going back to one of the things that's helped you stick with the program is actually structure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what are some things that you've experienced that kind of deviate away from what you wanted to do, or have worked the least in
Okay.
keeping you with sticking with the program?
Um, hmm. I don't know. I guess, I guess I've just been so stressed lately. Um, for the past, like, year, so 6 months especially. Um, and,
With school?
well, yeah, I would, I wouldn't have, like, a plan or, like, I wouldn't make it a priority. Like that hasn't worked for me. Saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to yoga this week." It's like, okay, well, specifically, what class are you gonna go to, and what time does that mean you need to wake up and get, and what can you fit in, and what class would be best for you. So, I haven't taken this. It's just like this idea, yoga,
Okay.
instead of actually something that I've taken steps. I've joined Yoga Works. I have a yoga mat.
Okay.
I have lots of cute yoga clothes, um, and all of that. But it's just getting there.
Yeah.
I think one thing that would be really helpful for me now that you mention, I'm thinking about my past with structure and having. I think what I would have to do is probably like on a calendar, like write down the classes I'm going to go to, and it's not just like, oh, maybe I'll go to these. It's like, no, I'm going to these no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So I need accountability that way, and I need it written down, for sure. Just like another client would be, like I see blah 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 on Tuesdays at 5. I need, it's just
Yeah.
making me as important as everybody else in my life.
Okay. So it sounds like the lack of structure is something that that kind of leads to fallout, or
Mm-hmm.
to not really doing what you want to do.
And the lack of accountability, having no
Mm-hmm.
one to be accountable to, and making now that I'm don't have anyone to be accountable to, I can be accountable to myself. So I think that's another thing that would be helpful for me is to have like an accountability checklist and maybe some kind of reward when I do when I go to yoga or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Well, good. So now I kind of have a better idea of what has worked for you, and what hasn't, for maintaining a specific program.
Right.
Two of the things that stand out really are structure and accountability. Um, I guess that kind of answers the next question I wanted to ask you, and that was, how do you keep up an exercise program, or whatever you want to do whenever difficulties arise, such as you get sick, you don't really have time, you have to travel, or it's a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So when faced with those kind of things, what do you normally tend to do?
Well, a couple things. Like, I have a jump rope,
Okay.
and like I can travel with that and do that, but I usually don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like if I get sick, you know what it boils down to is it just in when I get sick or something, I can still exercise a little bit because I freak out if I don't. But when I get stressed and overwhelmed with school, I definitely won't go to yoga.
Okay.
I might jump rope for 20 minutes, like before I have to go do something, but I won't take the time for self care at all.
Okay. Okay. So when you get sick, or anything kind of comes up, your kind of alternative for you is to just go and jump rope for 20 minutes.
Yeah, do something fast.
Okay. And that you mentioned that you freak out without exercise. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, it's hard being a former athlete, not having that be a part of your life anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, exercise does. I mean, it's crucial for just my well-being. I get depressed. I get anxious. I get self-loathing, and I feel gross, and I have no energy. I don't sleep well. I don't eat well. And I don't exercise.
Okay.
So it sucks.
So it seems like whenever you don't exercise, you physically and mentally kind of go through repercussions.
Yeah. And I get really stressed.
Yeah. And they don't sound very pleasant. Okay. And you mentioned stress coming up again. Okay. So I kind of want to focus on what you do now in regards to physical activity.
Okay.
So what does your daily activities look like?
Let's see. Yeah. Not much. I mean, okay, so about 9 months ago, I bought a package of 10 sessions at this gym called Forma. While Nathan, the guy I was talking about before, was a trainer there. But about 6 months went by because I was so busy with getting a pre-doc internship and school stuff that I wasn't able to really see him at all.
Okay.
So I had these 10 sessions, and he wasn't at Forma anymore, but he recommended another trainer there. So I just this past month started training with him again. And Nathan told him my tendency to injure myself, so we've really just started so slow. We're just doing a lot of stretching, a lot of really easy stuff to get my body back to a place where it can be pushed a little bit, which I think is really good for me. And I've been able to maintain that pretty consistently. It's still so hard. Like every night before, like I see him at at 7:30 one day and 8 o'clock the other. Every night before I want to call him, cancel, and a couple times I do, but I usually don't, because I really don't want to go. But then when I go, I'm happy. It's just I don't know what my deal is. And then I go for walks just because I like being outside every now and then, but they're really low key and chill. I jump rope every now and then. I really like to jump rope. I'll just go outside and jump rope for 15-20 minutes. That's about it. I've been to yoga a couple times in the past couple of months, but usually I go like once, and then I don't go for another couple months. That's my problem. And I really love Pilates, but I barely ever get to do that.
Okay. So, kind of what I heard from you is that a long time ago you bought a packet of 10 sessions at a gym called Forma, and you were kind of going through a phase in your life where school was taking up a lot of your time, so that you really didn't get a chance to use those sessions.
Right.
And so that recently you just started working with a trainer, and you mentioned that you're kind of taking things slow and stretching, and you said you meet twice a week? Usually? Okay. And that you talked about how you take walks and jump rope, and that you really like to jump rope. Just out of curiosity, what is it about jumping rope that you like?
Oh, it's what I did growing up for tennis because it keeps you on your toes.
Okay.
And it's just a really quick, easy way to get some good exercise in. Like 10 minutes of jump rope is like half an hour of running. And I usually, because the movement's not big,